Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Kemick. I hope you're having a good week this week and weathering well whatever storm it is you're having. This is our weekly update, of course, for week 2 of HCD660 Foundations of Human Capital Development. So, by now you've probably started to surmise certain things, ask yourself certain questions, and I'd like to kind of cover some information for you that you might find helpful. First of all, what is human capital development? Well, you can't really define it without understanding what human capital is. It's basically what's in our heads, what people know, how they interact, how committed they are to their organization, and the work that they do, knowledge, skills, abilities, attitudes, those kinds of things. All of this drives an organization towards achieving its strategic objectives of being successful, growing, those kinds of things. Simply stated, human capital is the collective knowledge, skills, abilities of an organization that drive business growth and economic development. Little history. The first to coin the term human capital was Theodore Schultz, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences in 1979. He championed the role of investment in human capital for economic development, agriculture in third world countries in particular. According to his research, human capital is the knowledge and skills that people acquire through education and training, being a form of capital. And this capital is a product of deliberate investment that yields returns. Deliberate investment. And this deliberate investment can be made either by the individuals themselves, by their organizations, local communities, states, even nations. Gary Becker was also awarded the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences in 1992, as well as the United States Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2007. Becker theorized human capital as an investment in an individual's education and training, which is similar to business investments in equipment. This was rather a radical idea at the time that he suggested it, and he maintained some friction on that point. However, his ideas were so innovative they were eventually accepted and have generally shown themselves to be true. Becker looked at the economic effects of investments in education on employment and earnings. In particular, the employment and earnings of individuals. How does the education help a person reach his or her fuller potential or fullest potential? What are the differences between those who are educated and trained versus those who are not? This was a radical idea, as I mentioned. Becker was an economist. You don't usually think of humans, people, as being or having a form of capital that they can exchange for their livelihood. But that's what he did. So we must ask ourselves, why develop human capital? That is the knowledge, skills, and abilities of people, their talents. And why do we do this in organizations? The main reasons you're here is because you probably believe most of this stuff, right? To address a talent shortage, to prepare for the future, to survive in an ultra-competitive global economy, knowledge economy, to attract and retain employees with the right stuff, because people see that investment in them as the potential for them to earn more, to grow more, to do more. And of course, to remain cost competitive, grow, and survive. There are a lot of terms surrounding human capital development and our profession in general. The use of many acronyms to describe the field of human capital development can sometimes be quite confusing. In fact, HCD can be seen as an umbrella over other terms like human resource development, human performance technology, and organizational development. The main distinction here is that HCD, or human capital development, is a broader term used to encompass individual, organizational, and even societal development. Yet all of these, HRD, HPT, OD, HCD, have improvement as their focus. In your reading this week, you may recall the human resource development definitions, components, applications, and contexts from the Swanson and Holton book. Swanson and Holton, or Swanson in particular, define human resource development as a process of developing and unleashing expertise for the purpose of improving performance. Performance at the individual, group, process, and organizational system levels. It has two major components: training and development, and organization development. Training and development develops human expertise, the individuals and teams, for the purpose of improving their performance. OD unleashes human expertise more at an organizational level and throughout the organization for the purpose of the same, of improving performance. There are many applications of human resource development that you can see here. Intellectual and social capital, workforce development, human resource management, organizational effectiveness, leadership and strategy. HRD processes direct, complement, or are embedded in various organizational, national, and international settings. We often think of HRD within an organization. We also can think of it as workforce development and those kinds of things that happen in our communities to skill people up so that they can fill those high demand jobs and not only improve their way of life, their way of living or standard of living, but make their communities more effective, more prosperous. You also looked at HRD theory, and within HRD, or human resource development theory, we have organization, process, team, and individual performance as our main goals or concerns. And those are undergirded by three larger theories: economic theory, systems theory, and psychological theory, and founded in ethics. Let's take a closer look at some of these theories. Foundational theories of HRD: psychological, basically core aspects of developing human resources and the interplay between humans and systems. There are theories about communications, there are theories about engagement, and many, many, many more that we can draw upon as we try to make improvements in our organizations. Economic theory, human capital development within itself is an economic theory. And it is all about efficient and effective utilization of resources to meet production goals in a competitive environment. And then systems theory, that is, complex and dynamic interactions of environments should be considered whenever studying an organization, assessing needs, and coming up with interventions to improve their performance. So where does all this come together? Well, we like to use the idea of moving from theory into practice in organizations. And there are really three spheres of thought here. One is theory. Basically, a theory is just an explanation of how something may work. There's research that takes that theory and studies it, sometimes with very specific populations, to see how well the theory matches up and to what's being studied. And then again, there's practice. That's what we do in our organizations. And where these three things come together: theory, the development of ideas, why things work; research, actually studying those things, measuring them, coming up with some answers on how well the theory is performing; and practice, actually implementing the ideas from the theory and the research in our organizations. The sweet spot is where they all come together. And with them, we get credibility, effectiveness, and results in our organizations, which is an important distinction because let's face it, if you were to go out into your organization and merely do what you think feels right, that might not necessarily be grounded in theory or research, and it may not turn out so well. You could take a hit to your credibility. Likewise, in theory that hasn't been practiced, hasn't been researched, is a little less reliable in your practice efforts than maybe a theory that's been around a little while and is being researched, being studied, and has some data to back it up. So here's what I'd like you to do during the rest of this week and next week. Think about human capital and the development of talent in your organization. Some questions for you to consider. What performance initiatives exist in your organization? How do improvements get started and occur in your organization? And what HCD or human capital development philosophies exist in your organization? And then from that, using that context, kind of think of this. What would you like to change in your organization? And more difficult questions would be why and how. This is where theory, research, and practice should come together. Week 2 assignments, reminders. Discussion board number 2 is about how you view the scholar-practitioner conversation in the article you read as relevant to your current or future role in the workplace. Your initial post is due 11:55 p.m. Wednesday, 8/26, and your response to one another or to one other student's post is due Friday at 11:55 p.m. Executive summary assignment. From the article you selected, identify the link between theory and practice and how theory can be used for solutions for real problems. The assignment is due in the folder, or the assignment folder, on Friday, 8/28 by 11:55. Also, please note, I put specific formatting criteria for that assignment on the assignment page, so please look at that. Also, virtual office hour 1, as you remember, due to the uncertainty of the impact of the hurricanes, Marco and Laura, virtual office hour 1 had been moved, or I had moved it to Thursday, 8/27, that's tomorrow evening from 6 to 7. So if you'd like to attend, it's totally voluntary. You're under no obligation, please do. You're more than welcome. Also, if you need to get a hold of me outside of that forum, please shoot me a text, send me a message in Canvas, whatever it takes, and I'll be happy to speak with you. The meeting will be in Microsoft Teams. Again, go to Canvas and click on the link, and it'll take you to the right page and right link to make that happen. Week 3. In week 3, you're going to be talking about performance improvement. That's where your reading is headed, and you have a discussion board to explain an example of the goals and processes or methods for each category of analysis in the model presented in the performance improvement model. And those categories are performance, organizational environment, gap, root cause analysis, and all as they pertain to the workplace. Your post is due next Wednesday, the 2nd of September at 11:55 p.m. And the response to one other student is due on Friday at 11:55. You also have your HCD theory infographic. Your task there, of course, is to create an infographic that presents or supports the main points from the article you read from your executive summary. It's due on Friday, the 4th of September. Please be sure to review the infographic rubric posted on the assignment page, also at the end of your syllabus. It has good information about what I'll be looking for as I review those. Well, that's it for now. I certainly appreciate you tuning in, and let me know if you have any questions. Hope to see some, if not all of you, tomorrow night. during our first virtual office hour. Until then, have a great evening.